Today on Max Handy Gadgets, we're cooking a chuck roast like a steak. Tastes like ribeye. So let's get started. Alright, and for the chuck roast today, we have an Angus chuck roast, and it's really pretty big. Let me see if I can show you the package. It's about over 2.5 pounds. And it was $21.34, now it's $16.86. Yep, so we picked one up, and now we're going to cook it up and make it nice and tender. So let me get this out of the package, and I'll bring you right back. Okay guys, here it is, our good-looking chuck roast. Look at all that marbling that's in there. Yep, when you're at the store, try to pick one up that has a little bit of marbling in it. And we're going to make this really tender and juicy, and we're going to cook this just like a steak, and it's going to be tender and juicy and perfectly medium rare in the middle. But first we're going to be seasoning this up, and then we're going to go ahead and put it in a plastic bag. Yep, and we're going to sous vide this in our Instant Pot. So let's get started. Now we already went ahead and patted it dry, but let's see if we get any more off there. Looks good. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of coarse kosher salt. Can you see it? Okay, put that on there. A little bit of pepper. Some garlic powder. I like a little onion powder. And a little bit of smoked paprika. And some rosemary. Put that on there. Okay, let's pat that in. Okay, let's flip it over and we'll do the other side. Put a little kosher salt. Some black pepper. A little bit of garlic powder. Onion powder. Smoked paprika, and some rosemary. Pat that in. Now don't forget to do your edges. So we're going to go ahead and dip our edges in the seasonings that we kind of missed that are still on the cutting board. Okay, there you go. Look at that. Doesn't that look nice? Now, if you guys see anything I missed, just let me know, right? All right, guys, now let's go ahead and put this in a regular Ziploc bag. Wow, that's a big one, guys. Nice and thick. Can you see it? Look at that. Really thick. About 3 inches thick. All right, let me put this in the bag. And there it is. Nice. Alright guys, now we're going to take this really nice looking chuck roast and we're going to go ahead and sous vide this. So let's go ahead and put this in our Instant Pot and let's get started doing that. Okay, and today we're using our Instant Pot Pro Crisp, and let's take the pressure cooker lid off. And let's take our pot insert out and we'll fill it with water. Okay, let's put our Instant Pot insert back in there. Now it's full of water. Now this is an 8-quart model and we have it filled up to about 4.5 quarts. Now we're going to take our well-seasoned, really nice looking chuck roast and we're going to put that right in there and let the water displacement method seal that bag for us. Just like that. Look at that. Doesn't that look good? Sealed it right up. And we're going to use a straw to get the remaining air out and help us seal the bag. Just like that. Put it in the corner. Right? And before we seal it, we're going to take our favorite liquid smoke and we're going to put that right in there, just like this. Now that was about a tablespoon, so it should make it smoky. Okay, let's seal our bag. We'll zip it up. Right up to the straw. And we'll push down on it and get all that air out of there. Okay, there you go. Looks pretty good. And we'll zip it up and pull out our straw and zip it up. Beautiful. Look at that. It's way in there. It's submerged all the way at the bottom. So all the air is out. Now all we have to do is put our Instapot lid on. Now make sure your Instapot's not set to seal. So make sure it's open. We don't want to pressure cook anything. Now all we have to do is set our pot. Okay, let's set our Instapot Pro Crisp to Sous Vide. And we're not going to do 48 hours. We're going to do 36 hours at 131 degrees Fahrenheit and hit start. And that's all there is to it. And our Instant Pot will take care of the rest. And when it gets done preheating, I'll bring you back and show you the time on the clock. I guess you know what it's time for now, don't you? You guessed that. A nice cold snack, like a wobble pop. That sounds good. Okay guys, our Instant Pot's done preheating. We have 36 hours on the clock at 131 degrees Fahrenheit. And our delicious chuck roast will be done. And we're going to turn it into a delicious chuck steak that's tender and juicy and perfectly medium rare in the middle. Now for you it'll be just like this. For me, I'll see you in about 36 hours. Yep. Okay guys, our sous vide chuck roast that we're cooking like a chuck steak is done. Let's hit cancel and let's take a look at it together. Okay guys, let's open the lid and see how we did. Wow guys, look at that. Look at that chuck roast. Can you see that? Boy, does that look good. And look at the juices in there. Boy, this is going to taste good. I just know it is. Okay, let's go ahead and get this out of the bag and get ready to sear this baby up. Okay guys, here it is, right out of the Instant Pot, still in the bag. Now let's get this out of the bag and get ready to sear this up. And we're going to make it taste just like a steak. And it's going to taste just like a ribeye when we're done. And it is going to be tender and perfectly medium rare in the middle. That's what our hopes are, right? Okay, let me get this out of the bag and we'll save the juices. Remember that? Save your juices. Let's open up the bag and see if we can get this out of here. And don't lose your juices. Okay, here it is guys. Look at that. Can you see it? And look at all those nice juices. Boy, that's going to make a delicious Au Jus. So save them. Boy, that really does look pretty good. Now you could eat this right now, but we like to put a nice crust on it. And we're going to do that by searing it up in our cast iron skillet. And that'll be really tasty after that. Plus we're going to baste it with some butter. Now doesn't that sound good? It really does. Okay guys, let's pat our nice roast dry. Now we're going to try to not take off on any of the good seasonings. But we're going to pat it dry. As dry as we can get it. Alright. Let me go ahead and get as much liquid off of there as we can, right? We'll pat this side dry. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's flip it up again. And we'll make sure that we don't have any liquid laying in the pan here. And we'll see if we can use another paper towel and pat it dry good. Now normally before you would sous vide or chuck roast, right, we would take some butcher twine and we would tie it up, you know, to keep it together. That way it won't fall apart when you go to sear it up in your cast iron skillet. But this one, this chuck roast that we're turning into a nice steak, it seems to be kind of tight, so it won't fall apart, I don't think. Well, we're hoping. Now we're going to go ahead and sear this up in our cast iron skillet and turn this delicious roast into a nice steak. And boy, it's going to be a thick one. And we're hoping for it to be really perfectly medium rare in the middle. That sounds good. So let's get started. Let's sear it up in our cast iron skillet. Alright guys, to sear up our delicious roast and turn it into a nice steak, we're using our 12-inch cast iron skillet here today, and we're going to set our burner to medium high. Now make sure you use a high smoke point oil. We're using peanut oil, and put some of that in the pan. Get enough in there. And to sear our chuck roast and turn it into a delicious steak, right? We're going to let our pan get smoking hot. Okay guys, our pan's starting to smoke. Now we're going to take our really nice looking chuck roast and let's turn that into a nice steak. Let's put that right in there. Alright guys, we're going to sear that on both sides and then we're going to do our edges. Don't forget your edges. Okay, it's been about a minute and a half. Let's see how we're doing. Let's get under here and we'll see how we're doing. Let's flip it over. Oh yeah, look at that guys. Look at that crust. Beautiful. Alright, let's let that go another minute and a half and we'll do our edges. Now if your steak or roast is kind of uneven, it helps to have one of them flat irons, you know, to hold it down. But this one seems to be pretty good. And if you put just a little more oil in the pan, it kind of goes up on the sides ever so slightly. And it makes a nice crust around the edge. Okay guys, it's been about a minute and a half. Let's see how we're doing. Let's flip that over. Oh wow, is that nice. I wish you could smell this guys, because it's really good smelling. There's nothing like a nice piece of beef sizzling in a pan, is there? And that little hint of liquid smoke that we put in there when we sous vide it, I can smell it. Can you believe it? Okay, that's about done on that side. Let's go ahead and sear our edges. Now don't forget to rock it back and forth a little, because the edges are pretty thick, right? Wow guys, this really does smell good. Okay, let's put that back down in here. Okay, let's lower our burner temperature down to medium. And let's take a little butter and start basting our nice chuck roast. Gives it that nutty flavor, right? Okay, let's flip that over. And let's baste that side with butter. Now I like to put a little rosemary in there. And we'll go ahead and flip it back over. Might as well baste it with a little more butter, right? Put a little rosemary on top. All right, let's flip it one more time to get that rosemary in there. Boy, that looks really good. All right, guys, that's about done. Let's shut off our burner. And let's see if we can flip it over one more time. That's beautiful. All right, guys, our delicious looking chuck roast that we cooked like a chuck steak is done. So let's get that out of there and let it rest. Okay, put that right on a cutting board. Look at that, guys. Can you see that? Boy, is that looking good. Wow. I can't believe it, but boy, does that smell good. Really good. Okay, let's put this aside and let it rest. All right, guys, while our chuck roast is resting, we're going to make a delicious Au Jus. And we're going to use about a quarter cup of drinking wine. Now this is red drinking wine, not cooking wine. Put that in there. Boy, does that smell good already. It sure does. All right, now we're going to take the drippings from our sous vide process. You know, all the juices that came out of our nice roast. We're going to pour that right in there. And we're going to bring that to a simmer. It's already starting. Stir that around. Now, if you want to, you can add a little salt, a little bit of black pepper, tiny bit of garlic powder, some onion powder, and some smoked paprika. Give that a little mix. Boy, does that smell good. Now, if you have any butter left from basting your roast, go ahead and put some of that in there. That gives it that extra layer of nutty flavor in that nice Au Jus. So just stir that around a little, and we're going to reduce that down a little bit. Okay, guys, our Au Jus has reduced down quite a bit, and it looks to be done really nice. Okay, let's go ahead and shut off our burner, and let's move that off the burner. Okay, and let's bring in a Pyrex pitcher, and we'll put our nice Au Jus right in there. Now I'm going to set this on this warm burner, but it can handle it because the burner is just warm. Okay, let's get our pan and see if we can pour that right in there. Okay, that looks good. Alright guys, there's our delicious Au Jus. Now all we have to do is taste test our delicious looking chuck roast that we turned into a nice steak. So let's do that. Okay guys, here's our delicious looking chuck roast that we turned into a nice looking chuck steak. Look at that. Doesn't that look good? It really does. Now, we did put a really good crust on there in our cast iron skillet, and that is really going to make it taste good. And hopefully it's perfectly medium rare in the middle, and it tastes like a ribeye. Boy, would that be good, right? We love our chuck roast, and the flavor is always good, but let's see how tender this is. Okay, let's put a little more salt on top, just a little bit, and a little bit of black pepper. Okay, all right, this is so big, I think I'm gonna turn it a little bit so you can see it better when I cut into it. Just like that. Okay guys, let's slice off a nice piece. Wow, look at that, guys. Boy, is that done right. That is just beautiful right there. You hear that crust? Perfect. Let me tell you, you can't beat this right here. Look how pink that is. That's beautiful. Beautiful, guys. I wish you could see just how pink that is. Hopefully you can. Look how tender and juicy that is. Look at that. That is just beautiful right there. And look at all the juice. Wow. And look at that crust. It's right on the edge. It's pink all the way to the very edge, and then we have a nice crust. I'll bet you this is going to taste good, and I can't wait to have a taste. So let's get into a bite. Alright guys, let me have a piece of this crust because I love the crust. Let's see how tender it is. Oh yeah. You know what I forgot? My Au Jus. Okay, let me see if I can show you guys just how nice and tender that is. And look at that crust. Can you see it? Look at that. It's got a nice bark on there, let me tell you. And that's going to be crispy and tasty. You can't beat this, guys. It's really going to be tender. I just know it is. All right, let me go ahead and have a taste and see how it is. Dip it in our Au Jus. Okay, let's have a taste. Wow, guys, is that flavorful. You can taste that liquid smoke and all those good seasonings. Boy, is this tender and juicy. You're going to love this. Your guests will too. Let me see if I can show you just how tender this is. Look at this, guys. Look at that. You can just pull it right apart. Look. Oh my gosh. Alright guys, just go ahead and make them this way because I know that your guests will love this. Now we're going to have about 4 people over tonight, and we're going to serve this up with some green beans and maybe some mashed potatoes. Alright guys, you know what'll go good with this since we're having this for a nice dinner? We're going to have a nice chilled glass of red wine with this. Doesn't that sound good? It really does. Alright guys, if you're enjoying these videos, go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Delicious chuck roast that we cooked like a steak. And boy, is that tender and juicy. That's what's for dinner tonight. Yep, I just got to have another little bite of this crust. Boy, is that tasty. Got the wiggle test? Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that crust. Beautiful right there. Dip it in our Au Jus. Have a bite? Yep. You're going to love this.